Yes, so hello again. We're back. So today's the 12th of April 2015, and this video is about the seventh card in the Celtic Cross. And this seventh card shows the questioner at the time of turning over the card. So we get an idea from the card itself how they're reacting to the reading that they've been given up to this point. So a little bit of recap. We start with a vertical card. The first card goes upright, or it's vertical. And then we place a horizontal one across the first one, and that makes a cross, right? Then we put 4 cards around that basic cross. And then we've got a longer vertical line, cards 3, 1, and 5, as well as a longer horizontal line, cards 4, 2, and 6. Right. So now we've got a cross and a bigger cross. Now we begin another vertical line, and it goes off to the side. As we look at the spread, it's on the right. And we start at the bottom and we put 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, up. And so this seventh card is going to be the first card, the bottom card in the new column. And we can look at, I mean, it makes you wonder, are the next 3 cards, 8, 9, and 10, does that seventh card become the foundation for that little vertical column that we've got? But we can come back to that. So the first card shows the atmosphere surrounding the question, and it may tell us something about the questioner. Okay, because the questioner is part of the atmosphere, or a member of the group that's being asked about in the question, or in some way the questioner is involved with the question. So it describes the questioner to some extent. But the seventh card is the card that represents the questioner himself or herself. But it's important to remember that it shows the questioner at the moment of turning over the card. And this is one good reason for not turning all the cards face up to begin with. In part because if you lay cards up face up and look at them, there is a tendency to pick what you know, or to work with what you're comfortable with, or to talk about the good cards and pass over the bad ones. Whereas if you have all cards face down and do as much as you can with one card at a time, you turn it over and do as much as you can with that particular card, you end up with a lot more information and a lot more to deal with. And I think it's probably a more helpful reading for the questioner as well, because you're not just taking the easy route and making it easy on yourself by, you know, that 4 of swords in the fourth in the fourth position. We'll forget about it for the moment. You know, there's a tendency to do that if you're not sure. But having all cards face down and turning them over, you're forcing yourself to come up with something, or to make some sense of the card in that position, even if you're not that comfortable with it. So the first card can describe the questioner because he or she is part of the atmosphere, but the amount or the degree to which that card describes the questioner, that's going to vary. And you can get an idea of this from the question itself. So if you want to know, what can I do to turn this business around? Right, the question is about you and your efforts. Right, so the first card is going to describe you quite a lot. But if you want to know, if the question is, how is the business going to go? That questioner is being more passive. How is the business going to go? So the atmosphere, the first card showing the atmosphere, is the atmosphere, and it's only you, the questioner, to a small extent. So we could find a lot of correlation between the questioner and the atmosphere with the first card, right? In that type of question, like with the first question about how can I turn this business around? But with the second question, the second sample question, how is the business going to go? There's more emphasis on the environment of the business and what's going on with it, independently of the questioner. So the first card is going to tell you less about the questioner himself or herself because of the nature of the question. And similar, if the question is, how do I find true love? Okay, then it's about you, and you have to find true love. But if the question is, does this person love me? Then you're being more passive. And you're waiting for a sign, or you're depending on somebody else to do something or say something to which you can or will respond. Right? So the first card in that question isn't so much you. So this seventh card is the questioner at the time of turning the card. And this makes sense if you think about it, because the questioner can come into the reading thinking they know what they'll do, or maybe their mind is made up in one way. But the first few cards can give them ideas that change their mind, right? Or make them see possibilities, or remind them of something they'd forgotten, right? So they see the first few cards and they came in a certain state of mind, but they see the first few cards and they're vitalized, right? Or they're more up for the challenge, or they feel less defeated at this point in the reading. They're not the same person who sat down and started the reading. So this seventh card can show how they are right now. But at the same time, the opposite can also be true, because they can have become less comfortable, or less confident, or more depressed, or more fearful after seeing the first few cards. Or they may not like the challenge that they've been given, or they don't want to make an effort. They see what's there, or they're told what's there, but they don't want to make the effort. Or they'd hoped it was going to be easy. And even though it's going to be good, they still need to make an effort and they can't be bothered, or they're just not that interested in trying. So they can have changed their mind the opposite way since the beginning of the reading. It's a bit like if you ask them before the reading how they feel or what they think about the reading, they can give you an answer. But if you ask them now at the point of turning over the seventh card, they can give you the same answer, or they can give you a very different answer. And this seventh card shows their present position. So you can interpret the seventh card on its own, right? Just to get an idea of how the person sees the question and the answer. So let's say the question is, will I get promotion? And you find the Sun card upright here. They're confident, they're optimistic, they think they're going to get the job, it's going to be a good job, they'll enjoy it, right? Because it's a Sun card. Or if it's a Three of Batons, they're thinking about the long-term plans in their future, and they're optimistic and they're confident. But if the card in the seventh position, again, the question is, will I get promotion? Or how is promotion going to go? And they get the reverse Four of Cups. They're not quite so sure at this point if the promotion is what they really want, or if they're going to get it, or if it's going to take them in the direction in which they want to go. Because maybe they're looking at that fourth card off to the side, and you're thinking, I should hold on. Maybe there's something better out there. You know, that idea that the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence? That can be what that fourth card represents. Maybe I should hold back because I think I know what I want, but maybe there's something better for me. So that's taking the seventh card on its own and doing something with it. But you can also compare this card with the first one in the spread, describing the atmosphere, but also to some extent describing the questioner. And you look at the two cards and see if they tell a similar story or if there's been a change. So let's say we get Justice in the first position and Temperance in the seventh position. So Justice in the first position, they were serious about whatever it is in the beginning. And with Temperance in the seventh, they're ready to do the work to get it. Right? Two major trumps upright. Or it could be you've got Justice in the first position and the reverse Seven of Cups in the seventh position. So they started off serious and focused. You know, everything's balanced and the sword is ready to take action. And they're ready to think it through. But with the Seven of Cups reversed in the present position, now they're confused, or they're doubtful, or they've lost the clarity of vision that they had in the beginning. And that's something for the reader to know about. And you can maybe then look to see what they can do to get their focus back, or to see what they can do so they can concentrate their vision and see more clearly what it is that they want to do. Other cards could tell the opposite story, because you can begin with the reverse Seven of Cups in the first position and they change it to Justice upright. So they were confused in the beginning, didn't know what they wanted, but now they see what has to be done with justice, and they know how to do it, and they're ready for it. So at this point, I'd kind of like to give more examples here, but I'm not quite sure what to say at the moment, so I think I'll stop now. But I'm thinking as well that once we've looked at the 8th, 9th and 10th cards, I can do a sample spread, and that'll give us a chance to touch on interpretations for the card in this 7th position. So that was it of the 7th card. If you have comments or questions, you can add them down below. And I should be able to upload the video for the 8th card next week, which is going to be the 20th of April. So until then, have a good week, and we'll talk to you again. And once again, thanks for watching. Okay, bye-bye.